Thank
Now
you.
to this news, Democrat billionaire donor Marc Benioff told the New York Times President Trump is right. He says, I fully support the president. He's doing a great job, and that Democrats, quote, destroyed San Francisco, and that Trump should send in the National Guard to San Francisco to clean it up, saying, quote, I'm all for that. Let's welcome back to the show nationally syndicated radio host Dana Loesch. Dana, it's great to see you. What's your reaction to that? Is this a big setback for Democrats like Gavin Newsom? Because Benioff is a big Democrat donor.
He is. And Liz, it's always good to be with you. Thank you for having me. I do think it is a big setback. And I think that more and more people of Benioff's level, their stature, are going to be speaking out about this, particularly when they see what happens with the presence, for instance, of the Guard in cities where people have been allowed to run lawless, attacking federal agents, trying to destroy federal buildings, which, of course, is why POTUS is sending them there. But San Francisco, Benioff did, he pointed out, which I thought was very smart, how San Francisco was able to clean up so quickly in anticipation of Xi Jinping's visit just a year or so ago. When he came to the city, they rolled out the red carpet for him. They even put up the communist, the sickle, the flags, even put up CCP's flags to welcome Xi Jinping. But all the homeless were gathered. They were expelled from the streets. Everything was cleaned up. They had landscapers out. I had friends who lived in San Francisco, and they said it hadn't looked this nice in 20 years, and they were shocked. And it was only a temporary thing, sure, but it does show you, Liz, that Benioff's right. It's not an issue of resources. It's not even an issue of staffing. It's an issue of will. Why don't Democrats want to do that? And so I think hitting them where it hurts and having their big donors like Benioff say this stuff and point it out and call them out, that's going to count for something. And at some point, they better start listening.
Yeah, Dana, you make a good point, because they did that within days in San Francisco. Why can't they do it for voters there? I mean, this sanctuary city moved to cut the police budget. They've only got about 1,500 police officers for the entire city. And Benioff says they need another 1,000. Now the Times is saying, well, local Democrats would see all of that as, quote, beyond the pale if you tried to do it. But they themselves did it.
Yeah, they absolutely did do it. And then they'll complain that they need to get some kind of funding or they need to raise taxes. In one of the most, just egregiously burdensome tax cities in the United States, actually really on God's green earth, the taxes there are so high. But it's not even an issue of that. They've spent, Liz, as you know, billions upon billions in homelessness, trying to fight homelessness. And California spent, I think, what, $25 billion with a B dollars since 2019. And all they did was quadruple the level of homelessness. They grew it by thousands upon thousands. They didn't solve anything. They were funneling it through all these other groups, all their friends, all their cronyism, which is now, of course, there's a criminal federal investigation. This is mismanagement. It's taking voters for granted. If they can do that for Xi Jinping, but they can't do it for voters and taxpayers in San Francisco, my gosh, at what point are these elected officials going to get a clue? They're driving a beautiful city into a hole in the ground. And maybe more Marc Benioffs ought to withhold cash from these Democrats. They've been donating to them. They're like legacy donors. Hit them where it hurts, which is in the purse.
Yeah, good point. And you know what? How about a solution that does help the homeless people, not what they're doing in San Francisco? Dana Loesch, you're always terrific. So smart. It's good to see you again, my friend. Thanks for joining us.